Hey guys, happy Monday. Torsar here with another sports talk video, and man, oh man, what a game. Up until the end. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of discussion about this, and it's unfortunate. I mean, there's just so many reasons why I hate for a game to be decided like that. It's a disservice to both teams, for one, even the Chiefs who won it. Because there's going to be people like me now who are just going to question the win on their part. In my video before the game, which did not do that well, and I kind of figured that I should have put it out a week before. But either way, if you want to, you can go back and look. I picked the Eagles, and I picked the Eagles in a close game. Now, I also said that I'd rather have the Chiefs win in an all-time thriller than see the Eagles win handily and just to be right for the sake of being right. It's the Super Bowl. I just want to see a good game. And yes, it can be ruined with one call. Just like, remember, the worst call in NFL history actually wasn't a call, it was a no call when we were robbed of getting to see Drew Brees versus Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and then that turned out to probably be the worst Super Bowl ever in modern day history. What was it, 10-3 or something? It was just unwatchable. So both QBs leading into this, highly, the MVP runner up, both played spectacularly. Patrick Mahomes, what a gritty, gutty performance. Jalen Hurts is everything everyone thought he was, and then some even more. The people, right when he hit that AJ Brown long touchdown pass, I was like, what again? Hey, those three nums, three people didn't even have him on their MVP ballot. That's a top 5 ballot. You're picking the 5 best players, and there was like 3 people I think who didn't have him out of the 50 on their ballot. And the only reason why is because they still question his ability to pass. Well, eat that one. So the game is going back and forth. And, I see, like Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers. Oh, you see the Eagles defense, we were going to expose them to. Oh, just when will that ever end with the saltiness of those 49ers and their fan base? You're still whinging on about that. It's just amazing. And I'm sorry, the Chiefs were the best offense all year. Wow, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, with the magician that he is, that he somehow gets Travis Kelce wide open all the time. It's just crazy. And to say that the Eagles defense, I don't agree that they failed them. The Eagles defense, they were I didn't hear them being compared first off to the 85 Bears or the 2000s Ravens defense, okay? Yes, they were a good defense all year long. But who was the best defense all year? Was anyone saying the Eagles? No, it was the Niners defense. The Eagles got a lot of attention for their defense because it was well-rounded and they had that devastating defensive line that had the sacks record, right? Now, what was the Chiefs' strength? Their O-line. They probably had the best O-line all year. They learned their lesson from the last time they were in the Super Bowl and got manhandled because they had no offensive linemen left. So to say, the Eagles' defense let them down, I don't think that's really true. I think the Kansas City Chiefs just shown they made some fantastic adjustments at the half. Getting the wide receivers involved when they hadn't been, Juju Smith-Schuster, the Kadarius Toney pass, that he was wide open. It's just crazy. In the end, the game really came down to 2 plays. The kind of unforced error. I know Bolton was right on him, but he didn't slap the ball out or anything. Jalen Hurts just fumbled it and then fumbled it right in front of a couple Chiefs, and Bolton scooped it up and scored. And then the Kadarius Toney punt return, the longest punt return in Super Bowl history. those two plays won them the game. Excuse me. I'm drinking a little bit of Sprite here, and I don't want to burp into the mic. So you don't know how the games would have gone, but if it was 21-7 at the half, that would have been a little bit more like that's more of an uphill battle. And who knows, maybe it even would have been 28-7. It looked like the Eagles were going to score right there. They just did a good job of keeping the ball out of Mahomes' hands. But anyway, it was 21-14. And I also think the Chiefs did themselves a disservice. I can't stand this where you defer the ball. You're the best offensive team in the league, and then you defer the ball to a team that had an offense that scored 11 times this year on their first possession. Like, why? Why would you let them do that and gain the momentum? It almost cost you the game, just that one decision alone. I understand getting the ball back after the half. I mean, it really didn't matter. Some of those Eagles drives were just so clock consuming. And, Mahomes really had a Peyton Manning-like performance in that. Remember how many points the Colts used to score, and they wouldn't even have the ball for like 20 minutes, and Peyton Manning would have like 6 possessions and score all 6 times. So he really had a Peyton Manning-like performance. And then, they let him play all game. There were more egregious calls. Some of the calls, people questioning the Dallas Goedert catch. That was a catch. What are you guys looking at? That was a catch. It was clear as day. I knew it was a catch in real time. Cut it out. So, the reason I'm going to say that this call ruined the game, personally, it ruined it for me. All right. In this instance, I don't care what anyone else says. You could say that was the right call. All right, so you want to watch flag football because if that's the right call, then you're going to be watching a game with a lot of flags thrown all over the field. Right? Those are going to be long games, they're going to be boring. Who wants to see that? I didn't understand Shannon Sharp being so fervent about that this morning on Undisputed. Like, so bro, that's the kind of game you want to watch where they're not letting the players play? And, on the opposite end of it, the NBA referees, where they're just like refuse to make a foul call at the end of a game, even though the guy will be like hanging on the other guy's wrist. I mean, that's like the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, okay, like call it. You have to call that, man. Like there shouldn't be different rules. But at the same time, at the end of a game like that, for a holding call in the NFL, that should have to be egregious. Because go back and watch it. You didn't see his shirt come up on, I know it was in the back. I'm going to go in the front. You didn't see this. Yeah, he had his hand there, and he might have, got him a little bit before that. But he didn't turn him. And that was an uncatchable pass. He could have just let him run free. So if that had been pass interference, they would have picked up that flag, right? It was just because the Chiefs got lucky that was called, that the penalty happened before the ball was in the air. Now, I didn't see when the flag actually got thrown, but it seemed to me like that was just a little bit late as well. Now, maybe that was just Fox missing it, but it seemed to me like the play was over and Mahomes is sitting there pointing, and then all of a sudden a flag gets called for holding. And it's just so disturbing. That was the way the game ended, where, I'm sitting there right before that play. It's 3rd and 8, and I'm like, here we go. This is by far the biggest play of the game. This is it. This is for the bowl. If the Chiefs can get this first down, they can run out the clock. And if that had been what happened, all right. You have that moment where you're like, wow, they did it. And that was taken away from all of us. And unless you're a Chiefs fan or someone who had money on the Chiefs, or I guess a 49ers fan or just an Eagles hater, like, why would you want to see that? Why wouldn't you want to see the Eagles get a chance to tie or win the game themselves? Maybe bring it to overtime and we get more extra football. That's not what you want? So to me, it doesn't matter what anyone else says, because as far as my opinion, It ruined the game for me. All right. I wish I hadn't even watched the game and had just gone to bed early and got a good night's worth of rest. And what are we talking about now today? Are we talking about how great of a game that was, or what's the most talked about thing today? No, it's that call. That's all anyone is talking about. The NFL, they have to do something about their officiating. This is getting out of hand. This is why, for the most part, I've reduced my viewership for the NFL. You know, I could sit there after something like that and say, I'm not going to watch football anymore. I'm not going to overreact. Of course I'm going to watch football. But I pretty much relegated my viewership to just Giants games. I'll watch big matchups if I have the time. But honestly, a lot of times, I just rather sit there and, play some Warcraft or something with the game muted. I mean, it's just flag football now in more ways than one. And I'm just so tired. And I'm not one to usually complain about officiating. I didn't get what people were talking about in the championship game weekend. In this game, it was very cleanly officiated up until that point. And no, that one call, potentially, depending on your opinion, that one call doesn't make it a poorly officiated game. It's just the timing of it. You can't make that call right there, especially when you've been letting them play the whole game. It's the inconsistency and the extra football that they took from us, and for it to just fall flat right on its face and end right there on a holding penalty. Because right when you hear holding, it's an automatic first down, and they can run the ball down to like 10 seconds or whatever it is, and the Eagles have no chance of doing anything whatsoever. It was horrible. It was atrocious. And not because it wasn't or was the right call. It's just so mind-numbing to hear people go back and forth on what's a catch, what is a holding, what's pass interference, all this stuff. I mean, those referees are the best referees the NFL has to offer at the end of the year, and they obviously don't even know what they're talking about. So guess what? Neither do any of us. That's why all you can have is your opinion. Mine is it ruined the game. What's your guys' opinion? Thank you, anyone who's watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you did enjoy the game. Honestly, it ruined it for me. I was kind of pissed, but again, that's just me. Look for some videos coming up more on debates. I'm going to try to... I have to keep covering current events, but I always try to ask some relevant question. And I like the videos more when they can kind of be watched later on, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, and still be kind of relevant. So look for that coming up. Till the next one, stay healthy. Peace.